is the Group 3 presentation, and we are going to tackle about the feasibility study on red salted egg processing and market demand. So why red salted egg? Well, there are several reasons why the proponents choose to venture on this product. Firstly, red salted egg is packed with nutrients. It is highest in calcium, which has 120 milligrams, carbohydrates, which has 4.4 milligrams, ash, which has 202 milligrams, and thiamine, which has 0.47 milligrams compared to fresh egg, balot, penoy, and century egg. Another is that the red salted egg, whether it is home-based or commercially produced, salted eggs command a high demand in the market, providing profitable income for Filipinos. According to the TUIN 2019, with the ever-growing population of Filipinos around the world, salted eggs have also become well-demanded outside the country. Thus, the researchers endeavor to study the feasibility of putting up this business. Next is the project location. So the proponents had conducted their research in Naguilian, La Union. The project location is the most critical decision to consider because it affects the business in a long period of time. It is therefore necessary that the choice of the location be preceded by a critical evaluation factors that will influence the choice either positively or negatively. So, to know and understand the goal of the proponent's project, let's now proceed to the next slide, which is the statement of objectives. The project was conducted to know and explore what are the possibilities on venturing the product, red salted egg, and on how effective the product in terms of the market demand. Together with the project, the proponents also presents information that can help other businesses or researchers who are also venturing on the red salted egg product. In determining the goals or objectives of the project, the proponents must answer the questions, which includes: what benefits can be derived from the proposed project? What are the products to be produced? Are the products competitive as to other goods in the market? And is the production capacity of the project adequate? So, those questions must be considered in determining the objectives and, of course, when venturing a proposed product. Okay, next, we have here the market aspect. This study aims to ascertain the feasibility of putting up a business on red salted egg processing and market demand in Naguilian, La Union. The need for the project could be viewed from the effects it could generate to enterprise citizens and to the researchers in particular who are exploring viable investment projects where they could channel their resources. The project could be implemented by any prospective investors who can generate the necessary resources to start the business. Once the project is implemented, the owner and the community as a whole will enjoy several economic and social benefits, such as it will generate income to the owner and other people who will be directly or indirectly employed in its operations, like the farmers, vendors, and other retailers. It will channel idle resources of investors to fruitful undertakings. It will generate employment to certain residents of the community and hence contribute to the massive livelihood program now being launched by the government. The municipality of Naguilian would receive income from permits, fees, licenses, and taxes to be paid by the investor. And lastly, the nutritional level of the consumers of the red salted eggs will improve, since the product is a good source of protein and hence the product would be readily available and sold at a reasonable price. Next is the market description. The composition of red salted egg gives the consumers more calories, more protein content, more nutritional punch, and contain more beneficial omega-3s, minerals, and vitamins than chicken eggs. This and more are the contributing factors why red salted eggs are beneficial to the consumers. But most importantly, the red salted egg is a profitable enterprise. Okay, next, we have here the technical aspect of the feasibility study on red salted egg processing and market demand. We also need to consider the technical aspect of the project because it discusses the basic and operational flow of the project. This includes the equipments, materials, structure plan, and also the source of supplies used in the proposed project. In addition, it helps the organization or the businesses to determine whether the technical resources meet the capacity and whether the technical team is capable of converting the ideas into working systems.
And so we have here housing management and facilities, and so we have here our farm layout, as you can see. Okay, so let's proceed. Biosecurity. Biosecurity is about the management of risks to our health, economy, industries, and environment from pests and pathogens entering, spreading, or establishing in waters or soils. Tactics used in order to prevent poultry flux and coming in contact disease causing agents or pathogens. Biosecurity is especially important because prevention is always easier and cheaper than treating a disease after infecting a flock. It reduces opportunities for contamination. Preventative practices are used for natural poultry health management. Reducing stress will help the bird's immune system and includes good management, adequate spacing, proper temperature, ventilation, and litter conditions, good nutrition, and clean water for the birds. So, under biosecurity, we have here feed safety, cleaning, sanitation, and of course, we have here hygienic disposal of poultry manure. And first, we have here feed safety. To produce safe animal feed, a proactive control system is advocated. Particular emphasis should be on the types of feed used in relation to feed-borne animal diseases caused by infectious and chemical agents, and on the relationship between animal feed and zoonotic foodborne diseases. Subject to financial and practical considerations, feed should be piloted to achieve pasteurization. And next is cleaning sanitation. This should be carried out from time to time to reduce the build-up of pathogenic organisms. A disinfectant known to be effective against a large range of pathogens should be used regularly for prevention of ingress of the infection. Effective cleaning and disinfection is an essential component of good hygiene and thus one of the key biosecurity measures for disease control. It should be addressed the disinfection of materials. And last thing we have here, hygienic disposal of poultry manure. Effluent generated from poultry processing of manure can also be disposed of after treatment with acids such as hypochloric acid 2% or citric acid 0.2% or with alkali treatment such as sod, hydroxide 2% or sodium carbonate anhydrous 4%. And next thing we have here results and discussion. Table 1 market demand and product satisfaction of the customers within the fourth day of selling the red salted egg. So first, buyer classification. We have here first time buyer. Total pieces or trays purchased is 2 to 10 pieces. Percentage of the egg or egg sold is 25%. Return buyer 1 to 3 trays 187.5%. Suki buyer 1 to 2 trays 37.5% for a total of 250. Buyer classification, as used in the study, represents how often the customers bought the product within the 4 days of selling. Table 1 presents the total number and percentage of the red salted eggs bought within the fourth day to identify the product satisfaction and market demand with the help of the respondents. By inspecting the total pieces or trays purchased by customers, one could see that there is a difference between the total number of pieces bought when compared to different kind of buyers. There were 30 respondents. The buyer with highest buying percentage was the return buyer, which has a 185.5% total, and followed by Suki buyer, which has a 37.5 percentage, and the least buying percentage was the first time buyer, which only have 25%.
Summary of findings. The findings shows that in terms of market demand of the red salted egg product, the customers have greatly impacted the result of the study. Since there were 30 respondents who have cooperated with the study, the researchers had determined that 15 out of 30 were return buyers who bought 1 to 3 trays of red salted egg. 9 of them are Suki buyers who bought 1 to 2 trays of red salted egg, and 6 out of 30 were the first-time buyers who bought 2 pieces to 10 pieces within the fourth day of selling. This only implies that the product had a high market demand and a great source of income. In terms of the product satisfaction of the customers, based on the comments or remarks in the survey result, the respondents had highly recommended the red salted egg for its high quality and rich nutrient content. 28 out of 30 respondents were satisfied with the product, whereas 2 respondents were not satisfied for the red salted eggs were not coated by fuchsia color. All in all, the researchers had found out that 93.33% of the total population were satisfied with the product.
The conclusion of the study shows that a red salted egg product is feasible in terms of product satisfaction of the buyers and the market demand of the product. This was concluded by the proponents because the customers are willing to buy the product. The product demand was high because 250 red salted eggs were sold during the fourth day of selling. The respondents opt to buy the product for it could lessen their expenses in going to the city. And yet, the product location is convenient. And lastly, due to the product satisfaction of the customers, the red salted eggs were easily sold out and other buyers also wanted to be a reseller of the product.
In recommendations, for starters, source of fund is important in starting a new business to afford needed materials for the production and producing enough products for the consumers given that the market demand is high. Retained earnings, debt capital, and equity capital are the main sources of funding. Retained earnings from business operations are used by companies to expand or pay dividends to their shareholders. Businesses can either borrow money privately from a bank or go public. Equity finance is obtained by swapping ownership rights for cash from equity investors. So why do we require more funding? It is mostly due to the need of improving facilities in order to cut labor expenses. In mass-produced batches, mass production is a modern manufacturing method. Mechanization is utilized in mass manufacturing to produce high volume, sophisticated material flow management, meticulous quality control, and labor division. Precision machining equipment has sparked a large-scale demand for mass-produced, low-cost items made by small teams. In rearing ducks, there are several advantages in raising ducks. Ducks lay more egg per bird per year than chicken. The size of the duck egg is larger than hen egg. Ducks require lesser attention and thrive well in scavenging conditions. Ducks supplement their feed by foraging. They eat fallen grains in paddy fields, insects, snails, earthworms, small fishes, and other aquatic materials. From the commercial point of view, ducks have a longer profitable life. They lay well even in the second year. Ducks do not require any elaborate houses like chicken. Ducks are quite hardy, more easily brooded, and more resistant to common avian diseases. So in packaging, nature has provided the egg with a natural packaging in the form of the shell. Despite its relative toughness, the egg is a very delicate product, and even with the greatest handling techniques, shell breakage can result in significant losses. Eggs must typically be safeguarded through the use of specific packaging and handling processes in order to be commercially viable. There are many different types of egg packages, which vary both in design and packaging material used. Packing eggs with clean and odorless rice husk, wheat chaff, or chopped straw in a firm-walled basket or crate greatly decreases the risk of shell damage. A very common form of packaging is the filler tray. Filler trays are made of wood pulp molded to accommodate the eggs. They are constructed so that they can be stacked one on top of the other and can also be placed in boxes ready for transport. Eggs can also be packed in packages that are smaller and specific for retail sale. Each package can hold from 2 to 12 eggs. These cases can be made of paperboard or molded wood pulp. Also, labels can be either printed directly or attached to the cartons. The cost of labeling must be taken into consideration.